Good evening, all.
One, two, three, testing, testing. Are we? Can you hear me there?
We can hear you.
That's not really Natalia, is it? Is it not?
We need to put something to mute this.
Over there too.
Try again.
Can you hear me? But then you get a feedback.
Yes, I will do that.
Now you can, right? Can you hear me? Yes. Yes. So we're gonna have to.
There's an echo.
Can you hear me? Yes.
So we just use this one, bring it closer.
Try now.
It's not gonna work.
Try now. Much better. We're getting there. One, two, three.
Do what she says. The only way that this is gonna work.
Close the mic. Close the mic. Close the mic.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yes.
Can people hear you?
Jocelyn, can you hear us? Yes. Now she.
I know she can. Thumbs up if you can hear. But you can?
And then you're gonna hear.
Okay, that's good. No, that's gonna be the focus.
Yeah.
Can you talk?
That's how it's the owl.
Say something. You say something? Hey. No.
Somebody
Somebody say-
say something.
Something.
There you go.
Very good.
Great.
Okay, you all set.
Thank you so much.
You get the most.
Okay, this is the
How about now? This is kind of sound. All right, so whoever. Yeah, how about now? Right, so. Can anyone say anything? Anyone?
Hello.
I lowered this, that's the problem.
Is there a way that?
The TVs? I think we should just.
Lower your mic,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll mute it.
Oh.
But the thing is, if I'm.
That's what I thought we were doing. We were killing this guy. But then we're gonna hear ourselves. Again, when he speaks. Yeah. That makes sense. Right. So then we're gonna have to unmute this computer when people speak. Mute when we speak.
When you guys be settled, we're gonna leave. That computer gonna be off. Just testing now.
With the owl? Like no.
Our apologies. I'm just trying to figure out this sound system here.
You don't wanna hear the people.
This is your first hybrid meeting?
We've
No,
had.
this is the second. Hello.
Listen, I just need to get started.
The other way around. Bill L. Give her the L. Bill the L.
Yeah. Now I will mute it. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Okay, there's no feedback. Yeah.
There you go. The person. Bernard Grutman. Can any of someone from the public say something, maybe, so that we can hear you?
I can hear clearly.
Carmen Paulino says that she can hear clearly.
Oh, well, I can't hear. The superintendent shows us muted. I'm not sure if he's talking.
Superintendent Miller, can you unmute yourself? Indiana Porter says that she can hear herself, so we can get going. I think. I could hear them, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Jacob, can you hear the people speaking? Not at all. I guess. I guess you'll have to. Yeah. This is probably gonna have to get closer then. This is only for the purposes of video and audio. Yes. There you go. There we go.
Yeah, let's do our
Let's
best.
do it, yeah. And then just
The only thing is not that that's distracting.
what? That conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get started. So I think that we have to kind of like introduce ourselves again. I don't think that they were listening or hearing us at the beginning. So thank you guys again for 17. We're gonna call the meeting to order. We have the presence of Jamirna Alcover, our assistant chair, Jacob Banas, Luana Ferreira, Rabbi Joseph Collins. We're gonna try and technically speaking get this meeting up the best we can, since we're having a bit of a training mode issue here. So having said that, we're gonna start our meeting with a presentation from Fran Martin, the president of the Bodega Small Purchase Association and the Bodega Panel Group. A couple of months ago, I think we really tell which date, the Bodega Association was awarded $1 million from Assemblywoman Amanda Seppi, who, because of the great amount of robberies that, especially that's that Bodega had been victims of, or victims of, she decided to try and mitigate a lot of these problems by using, discretionary funds for budget money, and ensure that the bodegas that apply or qualify and then apply would be able to receive those services. Frank, you have a couple of minutes to explain exactly what the service is. If you need help.
Okay, yes, it was a great idea from Amanda Secretary, because we've been having a lot of problems with public safety, and plus the no consequence that we've been having when using repeat offenders, and a lot of bodegas and supermarkets being attacked by the shoplifting. and she put $1 million, which making respect her a lot because she came up with that money. We are trying to get more people to do that so we can get to the most store we can have. So with this $1 million, we already start to install a camera and a panic button on the south front. We're gonna come to Washington High and East Harding. And the same order, we're gonna ask another elected officer to see if they can come with some more money so we can do that to keep doing or expand the programs to the five boroughs. But the most important of that is to have to work closer with the police department so that when we press that button, the police see that it's an emergency and they give up a quick response. That's what we are, we are working with. I spoke before last night with Edward Cavans, and we're gonna have a meeting, 15 meeting, in order to have a closer relation with all of the prisons and the community, the business community in the area. So that's what we're asking. That plan, in order to work, we need the support of the NYPD. We've been supporting NYPD all the time. We have a programs that we create in the 2020 that said we support the community and the NYPD. We need to work more close, have a better communication. So that's what I ask you to anyone that can help so we can expand the program. Or they tell us how who we gotta go to knock them more door to expand the programs on the five boroughs.
Okay, thank you. How, when you say that you want police cooperation, when you press that button, how does it work? And where does the button go? Does it go behind the counter? How does it work?
Yes, we're gonna have the panic button behind the counter. Yeah, it will be pretty close. So that will be easy for us to press the button and send the alarm. It's an emergency that's going on. Even we are talking to the bodegueros and telling them that that's me for a really emergency. So like that, our officers, they don't waste the time. It's not for any disagreement. You can just press the button. It's just for a really emergency. And then to have the support of the police in the area, so they go quick to the store. And we did the first one. When we started the first one, we was trying, and it really surprised us because we was trying the panic button, and he pressed it by accident. The guy that was about to install it, and it got like 7-10 minutes. The police arrived there, so that was a surprise, and that was something make me feel good because that's what we need. That they respond our call.
What are your expectations? How much time do you think realistically that happens between when a perpetrator commits a crime and we respond? How many minutes? I think 7 minutes or whatever.
They're home already.
Yes, well, but at least when you call and you wait half an hour or 40 minutes for the police to arrive. So when you say that they comes before 10 minutes, so we feel good. But yeah, it should be the closer one that they send it right there to the store where the alarm is coming from. But we expect that to every day make it better, that respond be more quick.
What's the interface between the panic button and representing who's 34? This is also where is the Bronx and all the boroughs? Where is this?
Yeah, right now it's in the Bronx, Washington Heights, is Harley. So
that's a lot of precincts.
Yeah, yes, we expect to expand it on the five boroughs, but we need support for that. We need more funding.
So right now we have there's 7 businesses out there now, and they can come over at 10, 11. And we start bodega, which is usually occupied, if someone is pushing that button, it's definitely a priority call. Someone is definitely using it. It's not like a sensor that's ringing. So we try to get to all of them as possible, but we will take those calls as a priority.
Thank you.
Sure. And how does it work? When you press the alarm, goes into some sort of central. How does it work? So, yeah, I don't know the logistics behind it. I'm sure there's an alarm company that can better explain it, but I'm sure it would be connected to 911 dispatcher one way or another.
Right.
Whether it's a private company calling the bodega, hey, is this an actual emergency? And then third party caller says yes, it's emergency, and then that person is actually calling 911.
Right.
So that's how I envision it.
I've been speaking to Stephen Ford, Deputy Mayor, Safety, and Safety, and there is an option where the central station monitoring will be able to actually remotely access the video to confirm that it's a real emergency that needs the quickest response as possible. So that, right, so that NYPD understands that it is urgency.
So it's great. They work in tandem. The panic alarm with the video camera. So once that alarm sensor that it's emergency, you can check the video and you get a better response.
Right, and to your point, we want NYPD to be able to distinguish this one from the regular alarms going off from sensors like this.
How many panic buttons or
Well,
alarms?
we just started this week. We started because we, like 3 weeks ago, we started the first one. It was like a pilot program to test. We planning our budget is gonna be for around 400 cameras, high resolution camera, and a panic button. That's how much that we're gonna be able to install with the money that we have.
And how do you get, how is it get the benefits of that?
Well, we've been going bodegas to bodegas, so we figure out the application because sometimes what happens is that the bodega owners sometimes they don't know, they don't follow when we announce something that is, so we got to go to them. And since we see the problems that we are facing with the public safety, so we go to the bodegueros and we tell them what program we have, what we offer that is for free, and to work together. That way we can be more safe.
So, Frank, someone from
I have a question. Are you providing the bodegueros and the supermarket folks some sort of situational training that they can distinguish what is their emergency to what in-house challenge that doesn't need police involvement? Are they how can they distinguish that?
Or all depends on the situation because how we present it because we will have any arguments about let's say something for the price or something about the middle. That's different than when you come to grab something that you leave it or you want to pay or you want to head up for the our weapon. That's easy to see the difference. And that's why we be explaining to the bodegueros. Yes. What is the difference that how and when to press the button? That is a really emergency. And we did have a conversation with Assemblywoman Amanda Sepulveda about creating a standard, the recommendation sheet, so that everyone sees the exact same information.
And what sort of technology are you using for the button? Like, is this a previous button that was used somewhere else that you were able to duplicate it, or was this like a brand new button that was manufactured for this?
Yeah, right now we are trying a new one. It's more easy. Doesn't it's not too big. Doesn't have to be attached to a long wire. So we are trying that one, and the one that Carlos told you that is the videos ones that you present. So we working with the new technology also to install the most innovation technologies to use as a tool to prevent. As we are using in some store, we already using it along with the supermarket, the face recognition camera that we call a prevention.
All right, thank you. I think it's been extremely helpful. Jacob, you have anything to add? No? So we're gonna make it a lot easier to transition to CAMSAT for the 34th.
So, I'm proud to report that, overall crime is down. Crime is actually down, for 28 days, and that's how the police department measures crime. 28 days. So it's down from 34th precinct, 8.1% for 28 days. Year to date, crime is down overall, 12.9%. That's pretty significant.
Can't hear you.
Sure. Oh, that was a test.
All right, can we hear him now? Okay, how about now? Can you hear us?
Echo, but yes, echo cancellation.
Okay, we got a yes. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yes. So from the NYPD CompStat aspect, in regards to the 34th precinct, crime is down overall for the 28 day. And that's how the New York City Police Department measures crime for the 28 day. For the 34th precinct, we're down 8.1%. Overall, year to date, the 34th precinct is down 12.9%. And I'm proud to say that arrests are up. Arrest enforcement are up for the 28 day, 12%, and year to date, 73%. So crime is down and arrests are up. One thing I also like to mention is violent crimes. There are guns out there, and it's NYPD's job to keep the public safe. So I'm proud to report that gun arrests are up. We have NST teams, NCO teams, and CRT teams that's out there taking these guns off the streets. There's one category that's actually up for the 28 day, and that's grand larceny. Grand larceny is a theft of property of over $1,000. This week, we have 4 grand larcenies reported. 3 of them are three gold chains being snatched, and 1 was US currency being snatched. And the perpetrator in all 4 situations have fled on mopeds. They fled on mopeds. And we recognize that mopeds are an issue. So I also have our moped statistics. So seizures for mopeds for the 28th day, the 34th precinct sees 72 mopeds. That includes motorcycles and mopeds, anything that's 2 wheels.
And the reason for seizing them is?
It varies. It varies. It could be a moving violation, not being registered, not obeying the VTL violations. And year to date, the 34th precinct has seized 406 mopeds. There's still a lot of work to do out there, but the officers in 34th precinct are working. And in regards to enforcement, those seizures, in regards to enforcement, the 28th day, they issued 37 moving violations, 3 criminal court summonses, and 5 arrests. So in addition to the officers assigned to the 34th precinct, we also have a summer violence post. Summer violence post that we categorize a particular area where we conduct precise policing. We also have mobile field force. Those are officers that come from different precincts to try to help us suppress crime. We also have what we call is crime reduction modules. So whenever there's a day that's peaking with crime, we have officers that come in and try to suppress crimes at specific times, specific locations. GLAs, grand larceny of autos, they're up like citywide. And there are hot cars. For instance, a hot car could be a Honda or a Kia. And some things that our crime prevention officers have been recommending are air tags or any type of tracking device inside of the vehicle. So let's say if there's a situation that the car gets stolen, then there's a tracking device and we can hopefully recover the vehicle. Another thing I mentioned is in addition to all the personnel we have in Manhattan North, we've also implemented bridge posts. So we have in the 34th precinct, the 207 bridge, the 181 bridge, the Broadway bridge. So we have officers posted on the bridge. So let's say if there's a suspect who committed a crime in the Bronx, we could actually prevent them from coming into Manhattan North. And we've had success stories with that as well. So as far as policing, there's a few ways that the community can get involved.
You could get to know your NCO officers, and I actually have flyers for all the NCO officers, their email addresses, their department cell phone numbers. So if there's a question or concern of where you live, you can contact that officer or supervisor direct. So you have an open line of communication with your NCO officer. We also have Crime Stoppers. That's always been around. If you want to give an anonymous tip, you would call Crime Stoppers, which is 1-800-577-TIPS. We also, you can follow 34th Precinct on Twitter or Facebook. We usually post any crime stats, any matters of importance on there. And most recently, they had the Citizens Police Academy. The Citizens Police Academy. That's a 6-week course. It's for free. Right now, the deadline just passed, August 31st, but it's not too early to think about for next semester or the next season. So just talk about the Citizens Police Academy. It's taught by NYPD instructors. Transportation is provided, and you work to foster relationships between the community and NYPD. So it's a nice program that's being offered.
It's a big commitment.
It's 6 weeks.
And
It's
how
6
many-
weeks.
During how many nights is it?
Yes. So this current schedule is taught once a week, every Tuesdays, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Once a week.
Yeah,
6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks. So the deadline passed already, but if it's something that anyone want to consider for the next season, that's also available.
Is that like the auxiliary program where after they graduate, they have to administer?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
After they complete the 6-week course, what are the obligations?
Oh,
Is it like an auxiliary program where they have to?
no obligation. You commit to 6-week training and you have a better understanding on how the insides of the police department work. Some of the perks includes that they teach is crisis intervention, dealing with emotionally disturbed people, the use of force, gang awareness, things of that matter.
I'd like more information on that so we can share with our members.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be glad. And I also want to provide my phone number. I have my business card, and I'll just read out my phone number for those who viewing virtually. So I'm Steve Bagan, and my phone number is 929-920-1857.
Floor is open for questions from the public. Participants in Zoom.
All right, so do we have any questions for the present? I think I saw Tanisha Grant with their hand up.
No, I didn't have my hand up.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
I do have a question, actually. So you
Go ahead.
said, because I'm on 2 meetings, so excuse me. Thank you for your report. But you said that you guys are trying to deal with the statistics are up for grand larceny. You said something about the SRG. Can you repeat that? You said
No, I did not mention SRG. SRG is a unit in within NYPD, but SRG was not mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And just a little further introduction to myself. I only have 2 months in the rank of in the 34th precinct. So I'm so new that they say the paint hasn't dried yet on my wall. I'm so new, I haven't even got my walls painted yet. But not yet. But despite all the white hair, I like to think I'm young and I'm energized about me. I'm from the South Bronx, so I'm pretty involved in my community. I find out this was a hybrid meeting. It would have been easy to do this at home, easy to do it in his office, but I decided to come here and meet you all face to face.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. One last thing before I forget. Staff wise, or police wise, where are you? Are you 50% capacity, 75% capacity? Where are you?
Staffing in the entire NYPD?
No, 34.
Staffing in the 34th precinct. I don't have that number, but we're always looking for good recruits, good potential. If there's anyone you want to recommend, friends and family, it's been a great career for me. As far as staffing is concerned, I don't have the exact numbers as far as how we're doing staffing.
All right. Good homework for the next presentation. So thanks once again. 33rd.
Sorry, Ebenezer, there's someone with their hand up. Miles Miller.
Miles.
Go ahead, Miles. Okay, so Miles put their question in the chat. I'm gonna go and read it on behalf of Miles Miller. His question is, at 40 Pinehurst, we have open drug use and prostitution. When we call, no one responds, or they do hours later after the individuals are gone. I've been told it's a manpower issue. The city ties the hands of the police and, quote, we have a lot going on, unquote. We've been referred to 311 multiple times. Is that what everyone is being told?
So thank you so much for your question. So for starters, I'll be interested in knowing what time are the crimes happening. We could definitely talk offline if you want, but it's a serious offense. Selling drugs, prostitution, and whatever they may be doing out there, it's a quality of life issue. So we definitely take that serious. I'm interested to find out which sector 40 Pinehurst is located in, so we could actually get you in contact with the NCO sergeant and then those NCO officers to build a rapport, and hopefully we could crack down on this issue.
The west side of Broadway.
The west side of Broadway? Okay, let's take a look at that map there.
The quiet side of Broadway. The quiet side of Washington.
So it's potentially Adam, sector Adam, but I could confirm that.
Oh, yeah, the address, so it's probably within that vicinity. 40
Yeah.
Pinehurst, right?
Yeah, it's right up there.
Somebody in the comments mentioned same outside of the 191st Street subway station.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that'll be sector Adam. And in regards to that, I did mention I have flyers. So sector Adam, that would be Officer Christopher Meyer and Officer Rodriguez Joaquin. And I'll be glad to get your information. Is Mr. Miller? All right, I'll be glad to get your information and put you in contact with the NCO sergeant. So I'll get your information after this
I
meeting.
think, just experience. I think the one is to give a bit of a context with the one in 191st Street subway entrance. You have three agencies that interlap as far as maintenance and cleanliness and security, which is the MTA, of course, DOT, and NYP. By itself or by design, none of the agencies will be able to solve none of the issues. So at some point in time, there has to be an intra-agency task force at some point in time, in that which you guys can sit down and come up with a realistic plan as to how to try to mitigate this ongoing problem. It has been touched around the surface. There has been things done sporadically, but they haven't really gotten to the root of the problem, which is have all these agencies speak to one another, round table in some sort of way, and figure out a long-term plan.
Absolutely.
So that I'm sure that I'm asking you for a whole lot. Now I have two homeworks. One is trying to figure out your staff, and now trying to figure out a strategy on how to deal with the one in the first street subway ventures.
Okay.
It's maybe that'll be a legacy. Maybe you'll make it happen. I don't know. I'm sure that you can not just do the status quo response, which has been just go in, send a few officers. They stay for a minute. They're humans, and then there's a shift, and then you get short staff, and then boom, things get back to normal. So
Yeah,
just keep that on.
thank you.
back on.
And I will take that homework home and speak to my staff to see how we can brainstorm and have this interagency meeting with DOT and MTA.
Thanks. Anyone else?
I see another question from Cheryl Miller. I'm gonna raise you up, Cheryl, okay?
Thank you. But I was waiting for the 33rd to give their presentation because I'm in the 33rd purview. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I see your hand, Tanisha.
Yes, I just have a comment. I hear Miles and his concerns But I also want to hold space for a lot of these issues are not, I would say, a police issue. We have to learn how to have our other agencies involved. A lot of these issues with our people who, are drug addicts, or our people who are prostituting, or I see these things about the encampment on 181st. That sounds like housing. That sounds like support for substance abuse. That sounds like things that, maybe is not good to criminalize people for. And maybe as a community, as agencies, as the police department, HRA, all of these other entities that are supposed to support people, maybe we should think about how we support these people instead of criminalizing them. Because this is something that we have been doing for a long time, and that doesn't work. So why don't we really come up with some way with our police officers, our precincts can be of assistance and not criminalized, if that makes sense. I will always advocate for our people who have drug problems, who are homeless, who, do sex work, to be supported and maybe be helped to move out of them things where if not, we have to call the police on them. Thank you.
So.
Thank you, Tanisha.
Go to the 33rd.
All right, up next, 33rd Precinct, if you're with us, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening. It's Lieutenant Saburo from 33rd Precinct. I'm here representing the command tonight. How is everyone tonight? Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'm going to go over a recap of the past 28th day. In the past 28th day, we had for murder, it's a one for 2023 in regards against a 0. For rape, it's 0 against a 2. Robbery is 17 versus 15. Felony assault is 24 versus 21. Burglary is 7 versus 6. Grand larceny is 38 versus 19. And the grand larceny autos are 8 versus 9. That's for the 28th day. Does anyone have any questions for me? And I'll take it from there. Or
you can keep going.
okay. So for our 28th day for the year, our year to date, sorry, not year to date, our 28th day overall will be 95 crimes versus 72. For the year, we are about 1% under what we fought last year. So we're still doing a little bit well for the year. Anyone have any questions regards any specific issues in the 33rd precinct? Or
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
This is Cheryl. How are you?
How are you, ma'am?
Fine. So I live in the within the 33rd precinct.
Okay.
So here's my question. And I don't know that the police can really do anything about it, but I know that, marijuana has been legalized. However, there are in my neighborhood, and I know it's been happening up in Inwood as well, because I know people that live in Inwood, about these open air drug markets. And I've seen people, with like a folding table.
Okay.
And all their paraphernalia, whatever they're selling on the table. I don't think that is legal to be. I mean, I know that people can, I believe, sell or possess up to a certain amount. But, with the fentanyl crisis, and a lot of that is mixed in with the marijuana and other drugs. And how does anybody know really that they're just selling marijuana? It could be anything. And I just see that people are really running with this thing that marijuana has been legalized. So now we could just, let it rip and just sell whatever. And there are children in this area. There are young, school children that could, God forbid, buy it, and it could be fentanyl mixed in it and they could die. That's all I'm saying, so I don't know what's being done as far as cracking down on these illegal drug setups. So that is my big concern in this area right now.
So,
Thank you.
no problem. So I see your concern. So I'm actually gonna tie that question in with, that someone in the chat is actually mentioning 161 in Broadway, that area. So yes, marijuana still cannot be sold on the street. It's still illegal unless you go to a dispensary. But we've noticed, somewhat of an increase of selling as far regards as folding tables. I believe I see that in the chat also. We've actually taken enforcement action in regards to that issue. We've come across a couple instances where civilians in the street are selling a folding table out on the street, have a folding table, sell marijuana, and we in those instances that we came across, we've brought this individual in. If they had warrants, they were put through the system. If not, they were issued a summons, and their contraband and the table was confiscated and invoiced by our department.
Okay, the good thing is that when you're saying what you're saying, there was a table that I saw set up like a block away from where I live over here on Broadway and 165.
Okay.
And I don't see that individual anymore. So whether he got nabbed or whatever by the precinct, but I really appreciate what the precinct is doing in regards to that. Thank you so very much.
No problem. Glad to hear.
I'm Barbara Frazier. May I speak? I'm one of the committee members. All right.
Yeah, Barbara, give me 1 second. May we have your name, please, representative from the 33rd precinct?
Sure, Lieutenant Saburo, S-A-B-U-R-R-O.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah, I want to ask, you've said that there were 9 grand theft autos this month, 8 grand theft autos last month. So that's like 2 a week, which is a lot. Are these primarily, are they happening because people leave their keys in the car and leave the car running? I know last spring you had hoped to start an initiative of leafleting cars at the gas stations and other places to not leave the keys in the car, not to, leave the car running and such. Did you carry through on that? And was there any success with that? Just asking.
Sure. So I do remember having I'm sorry.
Go on. Well,
I-
my second question is the illegal and unlicensed scooters, e-bikes, two-wheeled vehicles. I know there's been some attempt to do something about it, but they're all over the place. What are you doing? What is your strategy on that? And also the paper plates on cars, the illegal licenses on cars and so forth.
Sure. So as far as the leaflets, that was a operation we conducted prior to the summer. Our crime prevention officer did go out and issue and distribute hundreds of flyers and left them on cars, storefronts. They go to gas stations and issue them out. As far as are the cars being left running, so I have the report in front of me. It looks like most of these cars are being left not running. They're being we have all the cars being stolen for 2020 in 28 day. This is only 28 days now, not for the year.
Yeah.
At the 28 day, 8 were not running and 0 were running.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Now what also about, I wanted to ask, I see this on Facebook, people talking about their, the next sort of preventative front of their, like their tires being stolen, their catalytic converters being stolen. You see these, pictures like it's in the 34th on Cabrini Boulevard or in your district down on Lower Riverside Drive and so forth. There's certain streets that get hit with the cars being externally vandalized for certain types of parts. Is there some initiative you can take so that I know they can put some kind of lock on the wheels that makes it hard to steal the tires, I mean, or steal the wheels and so forth to, and how much has that been going on?
So that we have seen an increase in car break-ins recently, primarily Riverside Drive, as you mentioned. I notice it's it's happening primarily during hours of darkness. And in regards to that, we obviously stepped up our patrols in those areas. Our public safety team and our neighborhood coordination officers are going out there nightly, checking on cars throughout the night. They work later hours. I was out there myself with them last week, and we primarily went to those areas. One thing we noticed since it's during the hours of darkness, we're attempting to increase lighting in that area. So if you go to the area 165 in Riverside and also 163 in Riverside, you'll see there's a floodlights in that area powered by a generator that are being utilized at night, times of darkness, in order to illuminate the area. And also in regards to that, we're at this time trying to put a plan together with Parks Department in order to see if we get those trees trimmed to increase the lighting from the street lights. Because like you mentioned, it is happening during times of darkness. So we're hoping that, by trimming those trees and it'll help stop it from blocking all those lights, those street lights in the area, therefore increasing the lighting in that area during nighttime.
Thank you.
Sure.
Next, we're moving forward from a question from Luana.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry you can't see me. Well, I just want to point out that the reason why some cars are more prone to theft than others is because right now there is a TikTok. I've been informed that there is a TikTok trend of people recording themselves on how to steal a Kia. The reason why I know this is because I have a friend who lives in Connecticut who got her Kia stolen. And that's because there is an uptick in specific brands due to these TikTok challenges. And that's, of course, beyond our purview. But, what I'm trying to say is that the problem is a lot larger when you get into these patterns of certain brands being stolen. Right now, Kia is, as the officer said, it's a hot car because of this TikTok trend of somebody teaching via social media how to steal a Kia.
Thank you.
I see Maria Luna, your hand is up.
Hi, everybody. I'm a former member of Community Board 12, but I'm speaking as the president of the 33rd Police Council, Community Council. I am asking all of you to be aware that we have a monthly meeting on the 3-3 and also the 3-4, the last Thursday of the month, on the 3-4, the last Wednesday of each month, where we take care of all these complaints. Basically, we try to get the community involved with the NCO's program. As you know, each prison is divided in 4 quarters, and each quarter, like A, B, C, and D, holds separate meetings. It's not just only on the community board, although I welcome all the community boards, former members, actual members, and the community people. Some of these issues are addressed personally, individually, in a private matter, that we can get more information and we can handle some of this complaint in a quickly way. So I'm just inviting at the 3-3, the next meeting is going to be September 28th. At the 3-3 and 2207 Amsterdam Avenue, 170th Street, 630, refreshments are provided and security is also provided. So you are all invited to join us. I think the 3-3 and the 3-4 are doing a fantastic work. Barbara, you mentioned situations along down Riverside Drive. The officer just told you about, the captain just told you about the new flood lights that they're being installed. That's helping us to deal with that. Also, no one had mentioned the trend of having packages being stolen from lobbies or buildings, making sure that if you order something, if you expect something on a Tuesday, just stay home and pick up your package on Tuesday. don't expect the police to cover that type of crime, because it's really that everybody is using Amazon and UPS and everything else. So just be careful about your orders, how they're coming in. I'm not going to show my my hair because I have my rollers on today. So, but anyway, welcome to welcome everybody. But I expect you to attend our meetings, our monthly meeting. It's really interesting, and the interaction between the community and the police is extremely helpful to all of you. Thank you so much.
Maria, only if you wear your rollers will we all attend the meeting.
You don't want to see that.
Thank you, Maria Luna. Jocelyn, do we have a report from the DA's office? Any updates for us? Yeah, I don't know if Superintendent Miller had a question for the 3-3.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Jocelyn.
He can do that while he does his report, and we can save ourselves a little time, right, Mr. Miller? Or
As
no?
long as it stays around.
Okay, you can ask a question.
I mean, that's all, you know. Good evening, Lieutenant. So Edgecombe, the facility is located between 163rd and 164th. And Edgecombe, everybody knows we try to be good neighbors. We try to keep the sidewalks clean. We clean around the facility. We found a lot of difficulty coming off of every weekend. There's a lot of street partying that goes on, especially on 164th Street. And there's a lot of garbage and mess that's just discarded. So I did try to reach out to somebody at the precinct, but I didn't get a call back. I'd like some assistance in that matter, because we don't really want to try to address, you know, citizens in the street. But we would like people to care about their neighborhood and, you know, to clean up after themselves. And part of my ignorance, but who's in charge of making sure that people curb their dogs? Because that's another issue for us on 163rd Street. And I don't know if people are doing it on purpose, but there's a lot of that where, you know, my staff is trying to clean it up. But, you know, if there's a law being violated, we like it enforced.
It would have to be, that would be a violation, and it would have to be observed in officers present. And it would be a summable offense, if it's, but like again, only, like I said, only if it's observed in their presence. And it would be a criminal court summons or an old summons, either or.
What sector is that?
That would be Boy, I believe, but I'll have to just double check that.
All right, so I'd like with whoever, and you know.
Do you remember who you attempted to contact the other day or last week?
Rodriguez was the last name.
So Sergeant, I'll speak to him. Sergeant Rodriguez actually just came back from vacation this week. So, okay. But if you want to maybe put your contact number in the chat, and I'll write it off of there, or if you want to give it to me right now, it's up to you. And I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, no problem. 212-923-2575.
Okay.
Extension 2000. That's, you know, during the daytime. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Miller, I think we have a hand from you. Go ahead, Tanisha.
Yes. Hi, Mr. Superintendent Miller. I don't know if you remember the block party that was going on 163rd a little while ago. Well, I was the one who was in charge of that. As you see, we made sure that the streets was clean, but I'll be willing as a community board member, as a person who lives in this area and agrees with you that people should be cleaning up after their dogs. And as someone who knows a lot of the community members, I would be willing to work with you on that to try to get the community to, you know, curb their dogs more. I know a lot of people who have dogs. I see it every day, and I totally agree with you. And I also want our community to be clean. I had a dog for 9 years. She never did that in the block. So if you are willing, I would exchange information with you and maybe together, you know, sometimes it's just take a talk, you know, like we've noticed is that, you know, we're the ones that's cleaning it up and it's not right, curb your dog. So I agree with you on that. You know, there needs to be more community care for our streets and more attention to people curbing their dogs. And you know, we have there's a supportive housing building on
Yes.
160, and they have a lot of dogs, supportive dogs. So let's collaborate and see if we can actually talk to the community together and get them to see that, you know, it's better to just curb your dog and clean up after your dog. Thank you. Superintendent Miller.
Tanisha, I suggest you get one of those holders attached on the block where people then put plastic bags in the holders. And then people will, you know what I'm talking about? And then people will be more likely to comply. And then make sure there's a waste basket on the block.
Yes, I think there's waste baskets at the end on 63rd or the Amsterdam, but I don't think there is one on Edgecombe. And I think that's a great idea, Barbara, for there to be a waste basket thing on the block. Because there are some on Edgecombe, but not on the block. So these are all little things that we can do, you know, to make it easier for the community.
But I'm talking about a holder that gets attached to like a light post or a telephone pole or a fence where people can put clean plastic bags in so that people who have dogs can use them.
That's what it is. Thank you. That's a great idea.
Thank you for your suggestions and recommendation. Really appreciate it. I guess we can move forward with the report from Jocelyn Minaya, DA's office.
Thank you. Jumaida, good evening, everyone. Jocelyn Minaya, I have the honor and privilege of serving this community as the director of the Manhattan District Attorney's Washington Heights office. I hope that everyone had a wonderful summer, such as it is. I can't believe it's almost over. We still have a couple of weeks. So I know that since we last met, there have been a few things that have happened, and I appreciated Tanisha's comment in terms of, you know, we need to meet people where they are and try and address issues and concerns that way. We can't arrest our way out of a lot of issues that are affecting our community. So I know that before we closed for summer, I did report on an RFP that the DA was making or was putting out there in terms of investments into the community to try and address some of these mental health and substance abuse issues. So since then, I'm happy to report that an organization called The Bridge was awarded the grant, a $6 million grant. And basically, the Bridge is now tasked with creating peer navigators. So we're calling them neighborhood navigators. And basically what they will do is their job is going to be to reach New Yorkers with deeply entrenched mental health and substance use needs. Again, to Tanisha's point, you can't arrest your way out of a lot of things. It becomes a revolving door. And if you don't address a person's core issue, you know, they're doomed to repeat, you know, whatever the cycle is in order for them to either self-medicate or, you know, because of their mental health issue, continue to be a recidivist. So we are going to start bringing the Bridge into the community. And by the way, Washington Heights and Inwood was one of the 4 focus areas. And we're going to be, the first 6 months is going to be the planning period where we're going to be seeking input from community boards, NYPD, and other stakeholders. So I will be looking to the community board. I will be looking to anyone who wants to sort of help us guide the Bridge into what our needs are and where our needs are, especially with the unhoused, you know, or problem areas. And I know there were a few in the chat, which I am perfectly aware of because I am from this neighborhood and I see it myself as well. So I will be calling upon you, my community partners, so that we can make sure that the Bridge knows exactly where in our community they need to be and where the navigators need to be. And then the second piece of that RFP was for court-based navigators. So that's the second element of this mental health investment. And that award is going to be for $3 million, and the RFP is currently still out. So they're reviewing the proposals now. And basically the court-based navigator program will be rooted in principles of peer mentoring models. So rapid engagement, system navigation, and other evidence-based practices. So the idea is when someone is arrested and they go before the judge, instead of them just walking out and not knowing, where to go, what's next, or any of their needs addressed, we're going to have court-based navigators in court to meet them on their way out and making sure that they're connected to these essential services, food, clothing, and social services, wraparound social services, including behavioral health treatment, supportive housing, economic empowerment, whatever it is that the need may be that this person has, make sure that they return to court if there's a return court date, and just trying to address that need right away as they're walking out of court. So it's two ways. Where people that are arrested, we're going to make sure they're connected as soon as they're walking out, once they're arraigned, and then the bridge is going out into the community and addressing those issues, meeting people where they are. I saw someone mention 179th Street between Broadway and Fort Wash, the synagogue. That was the #1 place on my list, actually. So I thank you for that comment. And again, I'll be looking for guidance from you guys, because I'm not everywhere and I don't know everything. But I'm looking to you as my partners to see how we can address some of these issues. And then finally, I wanted to mention this Saturday, September the 9th, we are having an Art of Healing event. So we've had Art of Healing events in other areas, in Harlem, East Harlem. We've had them in the Lower East Side. So this is the first time that we're going to have it here in Washington Heights. Basically, Art of Healing events are events that are youth focused, and what we're trying to do, we partner with Thrive Collective, and what they do is they try and give youth avenues to express themselves, to express the violence that's around them, and to just have a day where we're all in community. So it's going to be, again, Saturday, September the 9th. It's going to be in the schoolyard of MS 322, which is on Broadway and 196th Street. It's open to the community. It's going to be a back to school festival. So there will be backpacks given out. There's going to be tons of activities. There's going to be tons of youth performances. And there's going to be food and, and music. And it's just a way for us to come together as a community to try and heal, but also highlight all of the wonderful youth that we, that we do have in our community, as well as the resources. So there will be resources available. So I hope that you can join us. It's going to be from 12 to 4 p.m. And, it's what I'm hoping going to be a wonderful event and one that we can repeat every year moving forward. So I hope that you can all join us next Saturday. And that's all that I have. If anyone has any questions, I'll take them. If not, I hope everyone gets home safely, and I'll stick around for a few more minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Do we have any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you, Jocelyn. Appreciate you very much. I had a question. You said it's called the Bridge Program?
Yes.
So are you planning to work? I hear you saying, you want to work with the community board and this and that, but I find a lot that we're, a lot of times we mix up nonprofit and community-based organizations, right? And this is something that we have to stop doing. The community-based organizations are the ones that are out in the street at 12 o'clock when people call them, assisting. So do you have plans to work with organizations like that in Washington Heights? And I would love to assist in any way I can in this initiative, because it's very, very important. And my other question, I don't know. When we talk about mental health, we have to talk about culturally responsive mental health services. A lot of times, the mental health services that our community members get, do not fit to them and do not help them because the people that are put in these positions cannot understand the mental health issues they are going through, whether that be because of their race, their culture, or whatever. I think it's very important that we understand that the mental health services of yesterday do not apply to today, and anything that we fund, anything that we talk about when we talk about, serving our community with mental health services, it must be culturally relevant to the community members. Yeah.
So what I say to you, and I love your pronouns, she, her, queen, sis. What I say to you is I put my information in the chat, including my email. I would love to continue speaking with you because again, I don't know everything, and I nourish my intelligence from my community and people like you. So I would love to have a conversation with you. Yes, culturally sensitive, absolutely. If you're gonna come into Washington Heights and Inwood, you better come into Washington Heights and Inwood, correct, right? So these are all things that the bridge needs to hear. And I would love to speak to you further. I would love for you to be part of my team in informing them what it is that we need. And together as a community, we're going to inform them again what we need, and they have to deliver in terms of us that live here, that work here, and that know what it is that our community needs. So yes, I appreciate you. Please send me an email. Let's get together. Let's talk about it, and let's make this successful. They need this type of information from us.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Jocelyn? All right.
Thank you, Jamie. We see in the chat, Jamie Campagnola says the Bridge is a wonderful organization, and I suggest everyone look into what they've accomplished. That's awesome. I love to hear that, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you. So moving on, do we have anyone from the fire department present tonight? All right. So those are all our reports. Do we have anyone else?
I'll give my monthly report if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
All right, good evening, everybody. Superintendent Miller from Edgecombe Residential Treatment Facility and Transitional Housing. I hope everybody had a great summer. So we've been over a year now doing the pilot program with the men's transitional housing. It's been very successful. A matter of fact, knock on wood, I don't think any of our residents have had any arrests within the 33rd precinct. So I know that was an initial concern people had, but it's actually been very helpful to the individuals that have come through. We've been able to do a new approach and really divert people from the shelter system as much as possible and help them get employment and permanent housing or reconnect with family. And actually it's gone so well that we're expanding it to women, hopefully by October. So we'll be able to work with women returning to the New York City area that otherwise would be going into the shelter system. They can actually come and we can help them connect with family or find permanent housing. So for men, we have a capacity of 70. For women, we'll have a capacity of 30. And we still have our work release contingent, who is also doing well. And we have a mixture in our work release population. We have transgender, we have women that are on medicated assisted treatment. So whatever services that are needed and opportunities are available, we're glad to be able to offer that to women returning to the New York City area. So things have gone well. The block party that happened a couple of weeks ago, we were informed of it prior. We appreciated that, and it did go well, and so that's a great thing. It's 164th Street where people are just having a good old time on the weekend. And I don't mind having a good old time, but clean up after yourself. That's all. Where I believe me, and I've been having, different staff do different things, willing to step up and do things out of their, out of their job title. but just because we do think it's very important to be a productive part of the community. As such, with school starting, we will be delivering school supplies to the middle school next door to us, MS 328. We'll be doing that tomorrow. So I talked to the principal today. So that's always, we do that every year, and it's a pleasure to do it. And we're going to keep, we're going to do the turkeys and the toys. We have a great rapport with them as our neighbors. So I definitely want to reconnect with the 3-3. And we have the opportunity to do, we did our annual tour in June, but there are other opportunities if someone wants to take a tour of Edgecombe that we can work out. So my information is available to the panel. Anybody wants to reach out and connect, please feel free to do so. So that's my report at this time.
Superintendent, it's Barbara Frazier. I wanted to ask you, now that you'll be including women in the program, certainly men are fathers, but women more so. I think the issue to reconnect with children will be more at the forefront. What are your plans on how to incorporate that or, make that part of the transition?
Well, we already have a partnership with Our Children as one community organization, but we're open to developing other partnerships with organizations that want to support reuniting families. For the men, we work with Hero Dads. So that, we've done that with the men, but we also plan on extending those opportunities to the women. We've explored the idea of doing a family day where family can come in and see what we're doing, see how we're supporting their loved one, and finding ways to help connect them. We do have the stipend program so that if male or female comes to the facility and they want to reconnect the family, we'll actually give them the family member $100 a week for 12 weeks, which amounts to $1,200 to support them reunifying with their family member. So we do think that's very important. So yeah, and if there's anybody else in the community that can help foster, those type of services, we're definitely open. We do resource fairs. We're always looking for resources. We have staff, a reentry manager on staff who goes in the community to look for resources. So if there's any, referrals, we're open to exploring.
Do you, as part of your screening procedure, I know you go to the prisons and see who might be interested in your transition. Do you screen, as part of your selection or screening, do you interview them on if they have children in New York City? And as part of that, what the plan is?
Yes. So we're actually going to Conic on Friday to meet with the women that are going to be returning to the New York City area between October and January. So that is that was addressed.
Okay, good.
Thank you, everyone. Do we have any other questions for Superintendent Miller?
I did have a follow-up question. I'm sorry, I'm new to the board and just now learning about the initiative. Are the men and the women going to be housed in the same facility, or are there different buildings or facilities? Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, so we're one facility, but we have 3 areas. So we have a west side, a center, and an east side. So the women will be on the west side, the men will be on the east side. They're going to be separate, housed separately, and they will program separately. Even though when they leave the facility, they can always, meet in the community. Remember, these are returned citizens. They're not, they're not inmates. They're people that are under parole supervision. But we are, they have, we're helping them get their entitlements. We're helping them, referring them, but they go out and look for employment or get employment or go to programming, do their parole conditions. And then we do have a curfew of 10 o'clock, which can be modified if they have employment or if they have, if they have a need to do something that we know about. And we also give them passes to stay with a family member or friend to see if that's somebody that they can consider living with. So that's also been productive. So we try to really, we're trying to meet them where they're at, which I heard somebody say earlier. which is
Good.
important to understand. And so far, so good.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, just trying to familiarize myself. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Superintendent Miller, I actually have a question real quick because I know we have some new board members. I was wondering, do you have any tours like the one we participated in the past? Do you have any plans for those in the near future?
We can schedule a tour for any of your board members that want to, that have seen the facility. We can do that. So just contact me. That we certainly.
Sounds good. You heard it here, folks. We're gonna keep that noted. So thank you for that, Superintendent Miller. All right, so I'm guessing that's it for our reports from our local agencies in the neighborhood. So we're going to continue moving forward with our agenda. So thank you, 33rd Precinct, 34th Precinct, and all those who asked question participated. Carmen, I saw you was gonna say something?
I was actually just gonna ask, how do we go about scheduling the tour? I'm not sure if that was clear to me, I'm sorry, but we have moved on, so I figured I would follow up after.
Your staff can just contact me, we agree on a date, give me the names, and we'll set it up. It's not hard.
Awesome.
So you guys agree on what's a good time for you. We're flexible. Most of the time we do a tour is during the daytime. So, you know, if you want to give a couple of dates and see what's best, that's fine.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Miller.
You're welcome.
And I'll definitely follow up with you in regards to our proposal here. Thank you, everybody. So for all my public safety committee members, did you receive the capital budget rankings? Do we all have them? Those who are virtually, do you have this document attached to your email somewhere? We're about to segue into our rankings. So I'll give all of my lovely committee members a couple of minutes to determine their rankings, and then we can gather as a collective.
So we're giving them in now, and then we vote next month?
We can vote tonight.
Yeah.
If you prefer.
September, we like to look at it, and then in October,
We can rank them together, because we have to rank them as a committee.
So we're just ranking our section, or all of them right now?
All of them.
We're ranking the entire everything?
This takes time.
Yeah.
What's that?
This takes time.
I'll give you.
Yeah.
And then we're handing them to the office.
What's the deadline for this though?
You know,
I'm actually not sure what the
yeah,
deadline
I think it's
is.
usually October.
Let me.
If you look at
follow up
last
with
year's,
you.
it's 10/18.
Yeah.
Is Ebenezer still there? You don't have to say, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to
Good.
stay. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for being here.
Is Ebenezer still here?
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think they have it in.
Jamira, when did you send
I
it?
see
I
we
didn't see it.
have a hand raised
Hi,
from the
sorry.
33rd.
Thank you for coming.
Good night.
Hi, I actually have another meeting after this. There's no any more questions or?
Look at our section.
Yeah.
I think you're all good.
All right, thank you. then.
For
Have a good
joining us
night.
tonight.
Have a good night. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Jamira, I don't have that ranking sheet. When did you send it?
It was actually not me, it was the office.
Yeah, when did they send it?
I'm actually not sure. I'll have to check my email.
All right. Was it
I'm on the-
Paula or Chanel who sent it?
Probably both.
Probably came from the both of them.
Okay, but what's the tagline? Find it.
Let's look.
I think we're only supposed to discuss our section, our committee, and then rank everything else for October.
So I'm looking for the email that contains the rankings.
James said we didn't have to do anything tonight. I think we just take them and look them
Yes.
over maybe. And then next month,
We rank them, yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure.
Did land use, are they ranking today? No,
They're not
right?
up to it yet, but anyway, ask James. James knows more than us.
Got it.
So I think we just take them, you can look at them. I mean, we could take 2 seconds to look at the.
Our section.
Copy of this virtually, but I can share on the Zoom if we want.
Oh, that's very
Anyone
nice.
want?
Yep.
So we had in the expense, they're all new here. And on the capital.
What does CS stand for again? Continue.
Continue.
I know it has to be with like,
CS means we don't vote on that. I mean,
yeah,
it's
but
ongoing.
yeah, it's ongoing.
Support.
Continued support, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going crazy.
Are we looking at the expense budget or the capital?
Looking at both.
Oh, okay. I have both, but I don't know if we wanted to start with one or the other.
Do you mind sharing?
Tamara, I don't find the email. I don't find it. And I've looked through
I have a
days of
copy and
email.
I have a copy and I'm gonna share it on this Zoom right now so we can look at it together.
Well, why don't you just send me another copy?
Oh, I can do that too, actually. Give me one
Thank
moment.
you.
I think also this month is where we would maybe add something new that's not here.
Certainly.
So we're only looking at our committee.
I think so.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, we know, we're definitely only looking at your committee. Even next month. I mean, we all gonna have to vote on everything. But
Yeah,
the conversation is about, is there anything that we, I think the conversation now should be looking at what this is, what's gonna be presented. We could begin thinking about where we would rank things and or if there's anything else to be added, I think would be that too. Any further comments?
Barbara, I just emailed you a copy. So
Okay, thank you.
should have that in a little bit then.
This is the last item on the agenda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do this? What did we use this? This is
Okay.
the whole.
Yes.
Right. This is what it's gonna look like when we're done.
I spoke to Wayne and he's under the impression that we should start working on them now, but they're not really doing it.
Okay, so we're starting.
Good.
Listening to instructions.
Yeah.
So we should start with capital budget or expense budget?
Okay, we can't, it doesn't matter, there's no order.
Okay, so we can do capital
Yeah, so what we
budget
have
since it's a
here,
little
we have here
shorter.
capital is, well, there's nothing to talk about. The first one looks like that's already being,
Issued, there's,
I
yeah.
think there's a number already assigned to it.
So pretty much board on the right side column, the section that says board, that's what the entire board ranked
Yes.
as their
Last year.
as their choice. And
this is
then
The order of the committee, right?
and exactly because of the committee.
Yeah, I was under the impression that once we have a number issued, then that moves to CS.
I think
Is
so.
that correct?
I'm not sure.
Right, so then we would have to rank
We
the
only have
3
three
new
to rank
ones.
on.
Yeah.
So do we keep this order? The all-terrain, followed by the lighthouse, followed by the camera. I'm looking at capital. I don't have any additional.
What is an Argus camera again? Is that a speed camera or a street camera, a street, you know?
No, I'm not sure. Google it, I guess.
That's what I'm doing.
Expense side.
All right, Google is sending me through all sorts of stuff about access and verify, and I cannot open this spreadsheet. I mean,
I'm
it's just
sorry,
very
Barbara.
frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yeah, can you give me a,
Oh, yeah,
can I
for
share
sure.
my
I
screen?
don't
Barbara,
do
we're
anything.
going to share the screen with you.
Fine.
I think that's the best I can do. I apologize.
Yeah, and it says, I don't supposedly need, it says it can open this. It says, this email grants access without logging in. And yet then I open it and then it says, oh, you have to verify this or that and passwords and all this blah, blah. It's very frustrating. I'm
They just
sick of that
can't-
stuff.
I hear you.
Okay, I made you co-host. That way you can share the screen.
There we go. All right, so I'm sharing a copy and it doesn't have the board rankings in it because it's not the updated version of
Well,
this.
that
But it's
doesn't matter. Okay.
the same document.
Continued support doesn't matter. We just have to look at the other. Okay.
Yep.
What did the 33rd and 34th request? I mean, I
On the
think one thing.
capital budget side, Argus cameras for 33rd and 34th. Also on the budget, procurement for all-terrain vehicles for efficient response. That's on the precinct side. That's
Mhm.
up on the capital budget side.
But we should have asked, I didn't know we were going to do rankings tonight. We should have asked them what are their current priorities, because this is from last year.
We're gonna make those decisions next week. What do you mean?
I know, but I'm just saying we should have asked them tonight, what are their needs? And we
Barbara,
didn't.
I think the rankings are in October.
Okay.
So this is just to discuss, and then we can definitely raise those questions in subsequent meetings.
Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
understanding, though.
We can ask them to come prepared with that next month. Right.
And ask the, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Meaning, when you're deciding between a light tower versus a camera.
Yeah.
How they would weigh in on that.
Yeah.
I have to excuse myself, but nice to see you all.
Okay, nice to see you. So then what are we doing? We're just taking a look at this and having discussions, or I don't think that we're expected to
No.
rank these
No.
tonight.
You can take it home too, because
Yeah.
for next week you have to rank all of them. Next time.
Yeah.
And it
That's the
isn't
hardest
mentioned to me to rank them. However, I think since we're a little bit unclear on that, it wouldn't be appropriate to
Yeah.
start
Right.
ranking. start
Yeah,
ranking.
we could do.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you.
Did we lose quorum? Because yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We're at 4. We lost quorum.
Yeah, it's 4 of us.
So we can't even vote on anything. So-
Yeah. We have myself,
Well, not
Jacob.
that there aren't any issues to vote. There aren't any resolutions or anything like that.
Yeah, there's something to go.
So let's ask everybody else. Is everybody comfortable to like just take a look at the document and then come prepared next week and start like ranking them at home? No? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be proactive here.
Public safety committee members, how do we feel that since we've lost quorum? So we want to just ask if you want to review this and then next week be prepared to give your rankings?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if the office could send this around to everyone via email again so that folks have a chance to review it. And
Right.
especially for our newer board members who may not really know what we're doing here.
Right.
Each year we go through this process. Please correct me if this is wrong. I've
Yeah,
only been through it
oh,
once.
you're a new board member.
I've been on for a year or so now.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
been
me
through this
too,
process once.
me too. Yeah,
So,
okay, so we're not new, we can't
no,
milk that.
yeah, no. But for anyone who hasn't been through this process before, we go through this each year of ranking budget priorities for the upcoming year or year in advance even, I think. And so we're doing that again now to say, as a committee, what are our priorities for the things that we want money allocated towards? So I think it would be good if the office could send this document around again, that we could all review it on our own time and consider what you want to prioritize when we're thinking about the needs of the community district. And I think that would make sense that we could do that and then come prepared to discuss and potentially rank things in the next month's meeting of this committee.
Yes. And also because we don't have quorum, we cannot vote on it.
Right.
So practically like the meeting should be adjourned.
Yeah. I think that was the motion to adjourn, and we will follow up in that order.
So motion to adjourn, folks.
Okay. All right. I agree.
Barbara, I think you should email either Ebenezer or Paola or Chanel so that they can send it to you again.
Yeah.
Maybe like the attachment and not like, so they can send the attachment again.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I will do that tomorrow.
Okay, great. Good to see you.
I'll share a follow-up email on behalf of our committee.
Okay.
All right, have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.